Have you found my glasses yet? I'm trying to, first of all, let's see if, yeah, it's working. All right, so let's start with something unrelated to jewelry for a second. I do have a microphone, so I can move. Some of the points I'm going to make has been already touched this morning from your chairman and your president. We can define them as a moment of big changes in the industry. So anytime you have something that is changing dramatically, you have noise that is coming from everywhere. And it's very difficult to focus on what really matters. So there is a disease that is called ADD, which is attention deficit disorder. And what it is hyperactivity of your brain. It goes everywhere. So it's very difficult for a child who has ADD to focus on a specific task. But when and if he or she finds the right task, nobody can beat her or him, because he will be the best one focusing on something for the longest period of time. So we do have ADD, all of us in this moment, and technology is not really helping because we're bombarded by different kind of information. So I put together a list of what we believe that are 12 myths of what are going on in the market as luxury. And whether it's coming from internet, whether it's coming from a common belief. And then the exercise for each of you will be to compare those kind of myths with reality, whether or not it's my reality or your reality, but I give you a word of advice. This exercise has been done with about 120 C-levels with at least 12 years of experience in the business, and this is the result that we got. So off we go. So you see on the left side, you see the myth, and then you see some comments on the other side. So the first one is, time is the ultimate luxury. Yes, it is, of course, it should be, but in my opinion, more than time is the return that you will have on your time spent. Because we sell in luxury, we sell in something that nobody needs. Therefore, the first assumption is that if you have enough money to spend your time in the way that you want, and you should, otherwise you cannot afford luxury, I would say that it's not a matter of not having time. It's a matter that when you spend time, you want to have something back. And most of the luxury brands are trying to emulate or compare themselves with the service that you get with Amazon, with any kind of major internet company. Those are commodities. We are expecting that the service will arrive at the right time, with the right moment. But this is not the sense of the business. So don't be so focused in making your service to the market quick enough when the basic of your business is not completed, because then it's not the game. We are in luxury first. So what your clients are asking is an extraordinary experience because they invest their own time, whether it's online, whether it's in a store, in a showroom, in a restaurant, but the extraordinary experience of the client is what's going to stay. So make sure that don't get to the client just quick, but get to your client in a way that he will remember. The luxury client is excessively private. It is not approachable. They should be, because obviously, once again, their time is precious. So when you go to them, you want to make sure that you invest that kind of conversation in the best way possible. Do not waste your time talking to the top client of yours with not a very precise message. So in luxury, we're delivering best product, best services to a larger degree. Of course, this is what everybody is expecting. So we're not doing anything dramatically different. But the true clients of luxury is seeking for a relationship with you. That's to be, as your chairman said before, honest, expert, trustworthy. So you deliver something that creates a connection with them. Whether or not talking about supply chain, whether or not talking about your expertise, whether or not talking about sustainability, is something that they have to relate with you and only with you. Luxury leads exceptional client experience because of its best-in-class training programs. I think that all of us are guilty in this category. We believe that the training for all of us is specifically a technical training. So therefore, each of us want to explain to the detail our product, where it's coming from, how good it is, and blah, blah, blah. That's great, but that is not enough. So the majority of the people that we have right now could be extremely prepared on a technical point of view to talk about your product, but then not so prepared in engaging a conversation with the client. Therefore, you go back to square one. You know a lot, but unfortunately you cannot transfer it to your client, for whatever is the reason. So if any of you has stores or store chains, the traffic is low everywhere, at least on the United States. So the time that somebody that is dedicated on selling in your activity, you can break it down between 80 and 20. So 20, you will be taking care of your organic traffic, whether or not it's in the store or in a phone call or an internet interaction with your client. 80% of their time should be devoted to outreach new client. Therefore, if your people are not trained to outreach new client, you're not going to make it, because 20% is not enough. Luxury e-commerce experience is about UX, user experience, about automation and chat. Yes, there is a lot of digital marketing. It's done some good, but it's done also some damages, as your chairman said before. The online experience goes to automation, but a growing number of luxury goods recognize that human connection can dramatically enhance the online experience. So, yes, we're putting a technology that has to help us, but in luxury, you're going to need somebody as a personal shopper who could really relate to your best client. So technology is an additional help to get to there, but if you don't have a specific training and a specific person that is dedicated to that, you're going to be in trouble no matter what. And technology cannot save you on that. 5, the sales associates have been rendered irrelevant by digital technology. Definitely wrong. Yes, of course, if you have no traffic in the store, what you're going to need to do, standing behind the counter waiting for somebody who comes. And when eventually he comes or she comes, mind you, she will be most of the time much more prepared than what we are behind the counter, because she knows much better your product. She shopped around already. She knows how much you want to pay for. She knows where she can get it. She knows where your competition is. So she knows everything. So why she's coming to your store? She's coming to your store because she's looking for reassurance, credibility, and establishing a relationship with you. Therefore, yes, the salesperson of the past, it's over. The new salesperson is somebody who knows everything, and obviously more than your client, but on the same time, is going to be able to establish a relationship when somebody comes to the store. And on the 80% of his time, of her time, she should be able to promote your product, your company, your store outside. 6, Chinese clients are willing to buy everything with a luxury logo. That's not true. It's changing quite dramatically and quite quickly. As a matter of fact, Chinese clients became highly educated, and they are most of them are sophisticated in luxury clients in record time. So there are two ways of deciding how sophisticated you are. So if I go back to my experience in the beginning of the 90s, where we were dealing with the Russian clients, and for them, the initial approach of luxury was probably Versace, okay, which, although it's an Italian company, of course I'm Italian, I wouldn't define Versace as the most sophisticated company in luxury. But then after a couple of years, they came back to me and said, Alberto, now we know better about luxury. You know what? We're buying Cavalli. Okay, in their mind, Cavalli was a bit more sophisticated than Versace. So sophistication in luxury is a matter of background, is a matter of being able to compare A to B. And of course, it comes from I would say, historical background. But differently from what it was in the 90s, today, with technology, the process is much quicker. Therefore, a Chinese client that 10 years ago didn't know much, now they know much more. So I will warn you to see the last line here, which is a Chinese luxury consumer is on the leading edge of luxury trend and may soon become the most sophisticated in the world. So don't underestimate that curve, because if you're not prepared, then you're going to be like Versace and Cavalli. Hopefully not. There is a luxury, what is luxury versus mass market. So let's talk about that for a second. So everybody in their mind should be in luxury or wants to be in luxury, because as we said in the beginning, we sell something that nobody wants. But who amongst us is true luxury and who is not? So if your product is luxury, means that it's unique, means that it's very difficult to find. It means also that you're going to be able to deliver your product in terms of service, in terms of customer experience with the same kind of luxury. If you cannot do that, you're only selling expensive products, which is very difficult to sustain. Therefore, check your point and say that luxury brands wants to be successful must differentiate themselves from the luxury pack to a much greater degree than ever before. I know that it's tough. I know. You want me to tell you that it's easy or it's going to become any easier? No, it won't. Therefore, you have to go back to square one. You remember ADD activity and check if everything in your experience with the clients is luxury. In the way that you answer to the phone, in the way that you send a letter, in the way that you communicate to your client, in the way that your Facebook page looks, in the way your website looks. If you don't check that, this is part of the experience. Maybe you spend $500,000 in a new store, but you don't want to spend $100,000 for your website because, you know, you're good enough. Or you have a friend of your cousin who's going to do your website. No, this is not the way to go, because you are what you look like. So your website is your face. Your Facebook page, by the word, Facebook is your face. It's not mine, it's your face. Instagram is your face. Your store is your face. The young lady that is picking up the phone at your office is your face. So check all the experience, because if all those checkpoints, anytime there is something that is connected to a client, is not up to the experience of luxury, you're not luxury. You're not luxury. And when you're not luxury, you're selling something that is very expensive to somebody who doesn't understand why it's so expensive. 8, customer loyalty is dead in the industry. Yeah, I would say yes. 25 years ago, luxury was a very select group of brands. So you had, Chanel, Hermès, Bulgari, Cartier, a few others that you have in your mind. As a matter of fact, now there are so many new brands that are coming to the plate. So new brands that didn't exist 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I would say that it's not a matter of loyalty. It's a matter that the offer is definitely larger than what it was before. If any of you is familiar with Kardashian family in the United States, there is one of the girls, I don't remember which one, who a few years back 5 years back, start a cosmetic company with her name, Kylie Jenner. So we run some numbers, and if I mention one French name that most of the women will know, which is Lancôme, which is a 150 years old company, it took about a century to get to $1 billion revenues. For her, it took about 4 years to get to $500 million revenues. And in 2 years, she will be a $1 billion company. So this is not a matter of being loyal. It's a matter of the offer is not as unique and restricted as it was before. Therefore, loyalty to get your client back or to keep your client close to you requires a better effort today, but is attainable. Of course, it's hard work. You're going to keep saying this work. It's going to be hard work. It's not going to be any easier. Technology, if in your mind technology will make it easier for you, it's not. Technology is a tool that is required today, but the exercise of checking luxury is always on your shoulder. Almost done. The only way to protect a luxury brand is to maintain complete control of all ideas and activities. So it means that if you work at Chanel, you work at Bulgari, you work at Prada, you work at Gucci, nobody else can say what luxury is. This has been true for the longest time. So especially from Europe, we're coming to the United States, to Asia, to everywhere saying, we know luxury, we tell you what it is. Just buy it. That's it. All right? So this is a French luxury, it's Italian luxury, this is luxury. All right? Now it doesn't work anymore in this way. Therefore, each of the brands should somehow adapt to a different kind of DNA, which is not anymore as a global market, but as a local market. So I will see very soon a special collection that are coming from the Asian market, for the North American market, for European market in a different way. And also, I want to mention one company, not because it's Italian, but I would say that they did a great job, who was able to adapt to a different kind of experience, is Gucci. Gucci has a great heritage, but now today is probably the artist luxury brand in the world, and is definitely different from what it was for me when I was in the 70s or in the 80s or in the 90s, but still a belt with the 2 Gs of Gucci is still fashionable after so many years. So not only that, but was able to adapt to a different kind of audience, I should say. 20% of clients really matter to a luxury brand. Here, I think that I'm going to say something that is going to scare you a bit, but I have to. 20% of your clients usually are making 80% of your revenues. Double check, all right? Hopefully it's 20%. The majority of your company, including yourself, including your wife and your family, is focusing on those 20%. And nobody's paying attention to the other 80%. Now, if some brands, hopefully not one of yours, is going down to 70%, it's not sustainable anymore. So you should be more focused on finding within the 80% that is not buying from you large amount of luxury, to understand why they're not buying from you. Because you know what? Some of them are buying, but they're buying from somebody else. That's reality. So I understand that out of 100 clients, 20 of them are really rich, and then within the 80% of your clients, some of them are rich. But why those within the 80% are not buying from you? Because they are buying from somebody else. So you have to be able to get to them in a way that obviously so far didn't work. And this is another reality check, which sometimes is not very pleasant, but has to be done. If you want to grow substantially a luxury brand, you must have the largest marketing budget. Okay. On a marketing point of view, especially now that even your chairman mentioned before, print is pretty much dead everywhere. You're working on a digital point of view. A digital point of view is an algorithm that is transferring a message to a largest amount of people available, right? That is what it is. Some of them will read your message, some of them not even close. You know why? Because this is based on pure scientific reaction. This is neuroscience. Your brain is reacting to keywords, sounds, color, and so forth and so on. So, in one sense, you have the precision of a scientific approach. If you send a message on your social media campaign, and you exactly see how many people are coming back and look at you. Great, right? On the other side, you don't know why the other people are not reading your message unless you know exactly the mechanisms that are taking from point A to point B. So it's not, at this point, the technology is giving us a possibility of doing much more with the money that we had 20 years ago. As long as you understand that it's not the same approach that you had on print, just moving to digital, because it's a different kind of approach. So if your wife, your daughter, somebody in charge in your company really like the color blue behind the background of your product, that doesn't mean that it's the right color. But not because somebody else will say, well, you know, red is better than blue, because blue has a certain kind of reaction when you open a message, other color has a different kind of reaction. So it's not a matter more of what I like and what I don't like. It's a different kind of challenge. You're putting a color in a different message that was on a page of a catalog versus a color that, if it's done on technology, will have a different kind of reaction. So pay attention to that, because, once again, it's an algorithm. It's not very complicated, but it's a very scientific reaction. Last but not least, luxury brands should only hire executive and frontline people who have luxury experience. Well, I'm one of the examples. So when I joined Bulgari as a young manager, I was coming from Procter & Gamble, and some of my colleagues were coming from American Express, of Unilever. I have to say that Bulgari probably was the first company in the luxury business who had enough guts to hire somebody that wasn't coming from the jewelry business. You know why? Because, as we said in the beginning, you can always teach to somebody the technical part of the business. Always. Of course, has to be smart enough to understand. But, you know, eventually it will take longer, but you will get there. It's very difficult to explain to somebody or to teach to somebody how to relate with people. There are people who knows how to do that, and people that will never, ever be able to do that. So now it's very important that you hire people who have a very clear understanding how to reach out for new clients, more than their technical expertise in your product. Because you will have great people that will sit behind the counter waiting for somebody that will never come. They know everything about your jewelry, but like talking to a wall. All right, so open your mind in hiring different kind of experience. Hospitality has a great background, for instance. One of the best customer service school in the United States, at least, is the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. So if you have somebody from the Ritz-Carlton, it's always somebody who knows very well how to deal with the client. If you go to any Ritz-Carlton hotel, you ask where the bathroom is, you will have somebody walking with you to that direction. She won't point the direction to you, which is a big difference, okay? She won't come to the bathroom with you, but she will tell you exactly where the bathroom is. So why so? I mean, you think she's particularly caring about you? No, she's not. She's been in a customer service training that anytime somebody within the hotel is asking a specific direction, you should walk with him to that direction. Yes or not? Okay. So I will challenge you to get different people from different industries. Also because we have the tendency in our business, I don't want to say why, but I think that all of you will know why. We were probably the last one embracing technology. We were the last one embracing marketing. We were always the last one. Always the last one. because we like to keep it in the way it was, because we are comfortable with our own bookkeeping, because whatever, all right. But bottom line, we are the last one, always. If you compare ourselves with cosmetic industry, we are in a cave with buffaloes, and they are on the moon, on a marketing point of view. So why, if we keep having the same kind of people talking about something that is probably obsolete, and I'm one of you, of course, I've been doing this business for the longest time, but my team is always with young people. And if they are not coming from this industry, probably it's even better. So open up to different kind of experience. Don't stay within your group because it doesn't take you far. There's a couple of emails that you can reach me, or if you want to follow me, that's great. If you don't want to follow me, that's great either. But I'm here to help you in any way or form. Last but not least, I want to talk about something else. I have 2 minutes left. One is football, North American football, right? I don't know if you like it or not. I like numbers. I like to see a different kind of reaction of statistic on different kind of teams. And there is one value, if you, like me, crazy about numbers, that is called average defense value. So it's analyzing your defense, and it's telling you how good you were in different kind of games and different kind of indexes that you can look at it. But then there is a second value that is called average defense adjusted value. What adjusted means? Well, if I have the best defense, but I'm playing in Miami in a nice weather, it's much more it's easier, or should be easier, when I have the same kind of defense that is playing in Buffalo when it's snowing, right? So you have to give me a credit that a different kind of environment will affect my performance. Nevertheless, you will have the best defense in NFL. So your best defense is somebody that not only is the best defense at large, but is the best defense that was able to adjust to different kind of environment. We should be able to do so. We should be able to do so. We should be able to adjust to different kind of environment. And you know what? As a child, I had ADD, right? And my son has it. Most of the time, it's genetic. It's a curse, but it's a blessing, because when you focus on something, as I told you before, nobody can beat you. And I'm very focused on this kind of stuff that you see here, and that's why they pay me, because when I get to the point, it's like I get it to your muscle, and I don't move until you solve it. And this is what we should do. Maybe not with the ADD approach that I have, that you don't have that kind of problem. Nevertheless, I invite to have a very good focus, all of you, on the point that we discussed, and I'm here to help you, and if you want to reach out to me for whatever is worth it, I give you some help. Thank you very much for having me.